We got a brand new update on The Last of Us Part 3 courtesy of the new special Grounded 2 Making on The Last of Us Part 2 reported by Insider Gaming. Neil Druckman, the co-president of Naughty Dog, revealed at the end of the special that there's probably one more chapter to this story in reference to The Last of Us story. However, Neil Druckman did not confirm any concrete details. At this time, Druckman stated, "I do have that concept that to me is as exciting as 1, as exciting as 2 is its own thing." Also, the big reveal during the making of special also suggests that Naughty Dog's next title will not be The Last of Us Part 3. Naturally, Naughty Dog would need much more time to develop a game that's still in the concept stage. Also, Insider Gaming reports that this lines up with recent statements from Jeffrey Pierce, the actor who voices Tommy. In December 2023, Pierce said that The Last of Us Part 3 did not have a script yet. Also, it gives us the latest update that The Last of Us Part 3 is in concept stage right now, since The Last of Us multiplayer game was cancelled. Naughty Dog later explained that supporting The Last of Us online multiplayer game would require too many resources, severely impacting development on future single player games. Also, the next chapter in The Last of Us sounds like it will take a fairly new direction. However, Neil Druckman did confirm there would be a through line for all three, and that through line is likely to be Ellie's story, but for the third game having a completely new theme. It was also reported by Video Game Chronicles that The Last of Us 2 was originally open world inspired by Bloodborne, and these details were again taken by the Making of Grounded 2 special. In the first 4 or 5 months, the game was actually kind of an open world inspired by Bloodborne. It was purely melee focus, all hand-to-hand combat, said co-game director Anthony Newman. Amelia Schatz, the lead game designer, explained, "It wasn't just the melee combat, we were also looking at layout structure. Bloodborne had a very open space that kept getting bigger and bigger as you explored. I really like that feeling that you get of mastery over the world. It starts to become almost a character in the game itself, and so that was also something we were looking at." As development went on, Schatz said that the team discovered that the open world structure didn't fit with the story of the game and they dialed it back. "We started out making it as different as humanly possible from the first game as we could, and then kind of dialing it back. The open world thing didn't work with the story that we were trying to tell." So that's great news that we actually got some concrete details now about The Last of Us 2 being an open world game in the early stages. And it seems like the reason they didn't go into that direction is truly because it just didn't fit the story well. But The Last of Us Part 2 was just a lot bigger than Last of Us Part 1 and just had so much more explorability in missions and so much resources to find, some hidden content to find too. And maybe for the third game they could really do an open world Last of Us 3. Also, we gotta realize that the power of the PlayStation 6 will be at hand when The Last of Us Part 3 is likely released, as it does seem to suggest that The Last of Us 3 won't be Naughty Dog's next game, and the next game will likely be ready for the PlayStation 5 generation. However, I can't see at all The Last of Us Part 3 being a PlayStation 5 title. For this reason, I do believe that The Last of Us Part 3 could really have a strong possibility of being an open world title. Of course, it wasn't really due to technical limitations that The Last of Us Part 2 wasn't an open world game, but rather because of its story. But I do think that the next step up from having major explorability within the world is being an open world title. Or they could even go in the direction something like a Baldur's Gate 3 did, with having very large regions to explore, which kind of act as singular open world miniature maps where the player can explore, do side quests, and once they go past that region, they can't backtrack. So it encourages the player to explore as much as that region as possible, leveling up your character and going to the next region. Now, I don't think The Last of Us will have RPG mechanics and level up like that. However, finding new resources, new bosses, and new weapons, and maybe even new vehicles to explore those regions would be a great idea for The Last of Us Part 3 and gets me very excited. And just quickly moving on to The Last of Us Online mode and just talking about how much resources were spent to develop the concepts and story of that online mode, I really think that maybe they could create that and use those assets and make it into a smaller spin-off title for The Last of Us universe, because we know there was a storyline to the game, which means there would have been some main characters, and maybe those characters can be explored upon if they use the assets that they made for The Last of Us Online and made it into a smaller single-player PlayStation exclusive title that could be kind of the Last of Us title for the PlayStation 5 generation. And there's no hint of this ever happening happening. I thought that would be a very cool thing to do, giving us our first Last of Us spin-off game from the remnants of the Last of Us Online mode. Maybe that's something Naughty Dog would think about doing, but as for now, I think this was a great update on The Last of Us Part 3. It's in the concept stages, it's likely not going to be Naughty Dog's next game, and will really likely be a PlayStation 6 title, and it looks like it's going to be the third and final chapter of the Last of Us saga. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We made some more Last of Us videos on this channel. I want to thank you for that video, which got over 100k views, and you can watch it right now in the description, comment section below, and I'll leave it in the end screen as well. Guys, thank you so much for 10,000 plus subscribers. We talk about all kinds of games on this channel, including the Spider-Man games, Ubisoft games like Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon, and just the best AAA action games and open world titles that I absolutely love. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace out, God bless, and hope to see you in my next videos. Take care, guys.
I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build